Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It's time now to review newspaper headlines, and of course we are going to start with this day on Saturday.
Absolutely. The newspaper of record it is. The lead story on this day says Inec registers 2,685,725 new voters as first phase of CVR ends. CSOs call for more awareness. Second phase of registration begins January 5th, 2026. That's a story on page 5 of today's newspaper this day. 2.6 million new voters have been registered in the first phase of CVR by Inec, which is a good number. It is just that at the end of the day, let's hope that the number of people that will come out to vote will not be in the predictable region of between 27-29% to about 35-36%. I checked the figures of those who came out to vote in 1999, maybe just because we were coming from the military era. I think about 56% of the registered voters voted in 1999. If we can get back to that era, it means that in Lagos, where there are close to 7 million registered voters, we should be having more than 3 million people to vote, so that maybe if a popular candidate emerges, you can begin to talk about 2 million, 2.5 million, for the winner. The last time we had such a huge number was when BRF, Governor Fashola, in his second term, got about 1.5 million. Ever since, it's always hovered around 700, 800, 850,000. And that goes for the entire country. So my point is, yes, more people are registering. More people are collecting their voters, card, PVCs. But then how many people are going out to vote, including the youths who say that, no, this is not just about, voting on Twitter. We want to exercise our franchise. Hopefully, with the off-season elections in Osho and Ekiti coming, and then ultimately in February and March, it's almost here actually, of 2027, because the primaries will run, as we're being told, between July and September of next year. And then February, March, you have the elections. So
definitely,
it's not just about the cards. A few other stories on the cover of this day. Oyedele moves to calm fears ahead of January 2026 new tax laws rollout. He's been talking, a lot more these days, but then hasn't the federal government appointed another person? The president appointed, Tegbe, as the gentleman who will supervise the implementations of the law. What therefore becomes of Oyedele? Will he continue to explain what...
Maybe he will return to the big four, but of course there are pressing questions about our new tax regime. It seems a lot of people are still unclear about what is to come, what our new tax burdens are going to be, and not just the figures, but how it's going to impact inflation and our daily lives, and not just income tax, but also, all the other taxes that are going to affect us in Nigeria. But very importantly, you're talking about Inec and the registration of voters. Very importantly there is that people do not believe in the system. And when people do not believe in the system or the integrity of the election cycle, they just do not come out. And the weakening of democracy in democratic societies, including Nigeria, is also resulting in the coups that we're seeing across our neighborhood. Because when you have a democratic coup, as we have seen in some countries where you extend term limits, cage your opposition, throw them in prison, we have opposition leaders dying in Cameroon. When we have that democratic coups, we also then see that they can beget military coups. And, experts have said it's a cycle. So I hope also as we lead into 2027 that free and fair elections is not just a fancy word, that transparency is seen as important and integrity is held as a standard that we must require from ourselves as Nigerians. Of course, our former Inec chairman has now been given the bow and go treatment to become another ambassador for Nigeria.
We don't have a lot of time. Two more stories on the cover of this day. On the strip, NUPRC issues permits to 28 firms under gas flare initiative targets $2 billion investment. That's a good one. And then on the window, AMCON suffers major defeat as court revokes attempt to place GHL under receivership. Slams abuse of process, rebukes agency for forum shopping, dismisses suit for suppressing facts violating court orders. That story is on page 5, which shows clearly how Justice Adetayo Aluko of the Federal High Court in Lagos yesterday revoked the attempt to place General Hydrocarbons Limited, GHL, and its assets under the purported receiver manager appointed by AMCON. So that headline is very clear. AMCON suffers major defeat as court revokes attempt to place GHL under receivership. The cover picture is also very instructive. The two of them, actually, the first one is about the Governors Forum. We've not been hearing so much about them lately. We've seen the northern one, the southern one, the APC progressive one. But it's good to see that the NGF in Abuja, yesterday at an award ceremony. And then the other one, 2025 Service of 9 Lessons and Carols, I believe hosted by the First Lady, who danced very well, by the way, at that event yesterday.
She did what?
She danced very well.
It seems that we have a lot of singing and dancing in our politics these days.
The occasion required it. And then there were former two heads of state there, General Olusegun Obasanjo and General Gowon. Or should I say General Gowon and then Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, who became a president later. It was a beautiful carol. And I think that this is the season, so we really shouldn't... a
season for hopefully celebration and, hope people stay safe.
We're not able to go into other papers.
No, but I think people should pick up the Vanguard. I think people should pick up the Daily Trust. There's a first son there with a crown on his head.
Beautiful stories on Saturday morning. All right, that brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching and do stay safe. I'm Steve Ayorinde.
As always, I'm Adesu Agiwa Osagi, and from my entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.